And then were you in a point where in that fight where you, or I guess in any fight, where you'd let your arm break before you would tap, or are you smart enough to know that if your arm breaks, it's going to cause you a lot more issues? Or are you the type of fighter where it's like, hey, I'll take an arm break, I'm not tapping?
Like I said, I've been doing this long enough, and I've been put in the position. I know the limitation of my arm, and I am smart enough. Hopefully, most fighters are smart enough to know, live to fight another day. My coach preaches that, live to fight another day, because we will always have another opportunity. So like I said, I knew where my arm was at, and I would absolutely tap if I felt my arm was in danger, because again, I want to keep fighting in this sport because I love the sport. I would never let anything happen to where I can't compete in this sport again.
And then maybe just change the topic a little bit. You obviously come from the Ultimate Fighter season 14. How much did you watch this newest one? Tough Live. And could you imagine, maybe your experience with the house? Could you imagine being locked up there for 3 months instead of, I don't know, I think it was 6 weeks? Was it for you
Yep.
guys?
Yep.
Could you imagine? Would you have signed up for it? I mean, obviously, I think you'd sign up just so you could get in the UFC. But could you imagine being in the Tough House for 3 months?
Like you said, I absolutely would sign up for it again, but I tell everybody, I try to explain to everybody, like, this new season is the toughest season mentally, physically that these guys got to go through. Not only do they have 13 weeks of no contact, 13 weeks of living in the house with the same dudes, not only that, but they have to fight all the way to the finale, like in true fashion of reality. I think Chiesa, or maybe it was Alec Iquinta, fought 4 weeks straight, 4 weeks in a row, four fights, whereas every other season before had 2 to 3 months after their last semifinal fight to prepare for the finale, completely recover. So this was the toughest season out of any season. Like, it's unreal. Like, that's why I'm so proud of Mike, because he went, he went through so much stuff on that show. Not only like with his family and everything, but then again with the 13 straight weeks, and then having to fight 4 times in 4 weeks, and then fight again in the finale. It's pretty crazy. Like, that shows a lot of heart and determination.
Mike Chiesa and also Sam Cilia also both train in Washington State as you do. Has there been any talks about possibly training with him? I know it kind of varies in kind of location. I don't know the state of Washington. I failed geography, so I don't know the way that state works. I was in Seattle one time, but that doesn't really help. So I mean, have you ever thought about trying to train with those guys or work with those guys, especially you guys being tough alums?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Actually, I just got done talking to Mike today, and I'm gonna take a little time off to go visit my dad and stuff. But I'm gonna head over there on the east side and actually try to cross train with him. In Washington, we're pretty skinny state, north south, but pretty wide east west. And I train on the west side, and they train on the east side. But I'm gonna be heading over there in about 3 weeks to help Brian Caraway train. And they said they're gonna jump down and they want to come over to the west side and train with us and Dennis whenever they can. We've actually cross-trained with their team multiple times. It's just whenever that has happened, that's when I was working full-time and working nights or something, and I never could do it. But we've been integrated with each other for quite a while.
I guess in moving forward, I mean, obviously now you've kind of heard confirmation from the UFC that they are interested in probably having you for another fight. And I know I asked you this last time we had you on a couple weeks ago. But is there? I mean, do you want a rematch with Eric Perez, or are you kind of looking for someone else in the bantamweight? I mean, kind of what's your feeling? I know you don't like to call people out, but is there someone that you kind of targeting? Like, okay, I would like to see this person moving forward.
Of course, with all this going on, it's really tough because if I get a no contest, I would really like to rematch Eric, because not only does it take that loss from me, but it takes that win from him, and the whole thing is a crappy situation because we don't really know who could have won, and I'm a sportsman, and I would rather knowingly lose a fight than having that taken away from us. So I would definitely rematch him if they gave me the opportunity. But of course, I'd like to fight Brad Pickett. That dude is got a great stand up. He's got great MMA all around, and I think we would put on like a fight of the year kind of performance.
Do you like? I mean, have you ever talked to Brad Pickett? Do you not like him? Is there? I mean, would this be a
No,
good
it has
bad blood?
nothing nothing to do with that. Nothing about who he is or wanting to build ranks and whatnot. I just want to fight him because I think he's a great fighter, and we would put on a great show because I have a hard time finding people that are willing to trade with me like he would.
John Prince Albert on the line with us. Marty, you have any final questions for John before we let him go?
No, I just want to thank John again, and don't want to distract him too much from his burrito. Let him get back to it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, John, we really appreciate you coming on with us and kind of setting it all straight. And I just want to let you know, for our record, we have a really good record when we talk to fighters before their fight. So next time we can have you on before your fight. That way we're guaranteeing you a win moving forward because we have a great record. It's the after when we talk to people, it's not always as good. So it's always like if we go right before. So we'll get you that so we can get you another win.
Good, because I need it, man. Like, I've just had the worst luck. I feel like I can compete and beat some of the best guys in the UFC, and it's just like the chance isn't coming, so I could probably use it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. That's John Prince Albert. You can follow him. John, what's your Twitter handle really quick?
UFC Prince Albert.
And then also any sponsors you want to give a shout-out, give some love to while we have you on there?
Let's see. I have X-Training Equipment, Lexani Wheels, Comic Oasis. Who else sponsored me? Trauma Fightwear, fight gear. I think it's Trauma Combat. They just sponsored Daniel Cormier for his title fight. They're actually a really good company, and I'd like to thank my coaches and everyone from Victory Athletics, and thank the fans for watching and supporting me. That's the most important part. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I do for a living.
Perfect. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, John. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you fight again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian and Marty.
That was John Prince Albert. We come back, we're going to continue to talk a little bit about the UFC Tough Live finale and much more. You're listening to Split Decision here on the Sports Geeks Radio Network.
Through the dust and the smoke of this man-made hell walked a giant of a man that the miners knew well, grabbed a sagging timber and gave out with a groan, and like a giant oak tree just stood there alone. Big John. Big John. Big John. Big Bad John.